All right, we're gonna jump right into it. Hello, everyone. My name's Gerard, the Completionist, and welcome back to IndieLand 2021. I am here, joined by Kind of Funny's very own Blessing. Thank you so much for joining us, Blessing.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also have with me the developers behind the game Savior, which we're about to play right now. Thank you so much once again for joining us.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Sorry, the gameplay's a little loud, so we're going to fix that real quick. But I'm going ahead and jumping in. We'll see how we go. So, out the gate, you want me to you're not going to say anything? Should I just start exploring? How do you want to go about this?
Why don't we set the table a little bit?
Sure.
Some people may be familiar with Savior from the Kickstarter that we did. We put out a trailer that got a lot of really good feedback. It's an action adventure exploration game, kind of Metroidvania, but it's not just like a typical Metroidvania. You'll notice that there's a lot of really fluid animations, a lot of parkour movement. In a moment we'll get to, there's a lot of sword fighting combat. So what we're going for, and this is, I should also emphasize, a very early build. So this is the first time we're publicly showing anything. So if things look like ass, that would be why. So don't judge us solely based on this, unless you love it. In which case, totally judge us and wishlisting.
I was gonna say, I'm already loving the parkour movements. That caught me off guard just there. All the flips and tricks.
Yeah, so one of the things that you'll notice is so what Gerard's doing is just, hitting the jump button. But every time he presses the jump button, depending on the context of what's going on, the actual jump animation will be different. So if Sam jumps up and is near a ledge, she'll reach out her arms and try to grab the ledge. And if she overshoots it, it'll kind of hit her, in the stomach, and she'll kind of fold over. If she's running over just like a horizontal gap, she'll do a cat pass kind of thing where she'll kind of do a flip over the edge. So there's a lot of, not only for the running and jumping animations, but the combat. There's a whole bunch of custom animations in here to make it feel a lot more I don't know if realism is the right word, but it gives it that kind of level of polish where it feels like it's natural movement. It kind of reminds me of if I'm pretty old, so if you remember Prince of Persia back in the day, the original one where the prince would jump over a gap and kind of stumble, and it looked so realistic. So those kinds of things are what we're going for.
What happened here?
So Weston, I don't know if you want to kind of set the table about the story and the world here.
Of course.
Yeah. So you're sort of just dropped into the game without any backstory, and you don't have any memory starting out. And there's going to be a sequence at the beginning where you see the villagers of this village all fleeing a disaster, and so you're kind of walking in on this destroyed town, and your first goal here is to first put out the fires.
Already, I dig how much is going on, because, like you said, the game kind of just starts, and I immediately had the old school Prince of Persia thought, seeing it from the get-go, and also I had Ninja Gaiden come to mind, and immediately my mind went to, oh, this looks like it's going to be more actiony. And so seeing the acrobatics and seeing how much platforming elements is in there, that's speaking to me. I think that looks really cool. But then I love getting outside and then automatically getting into some of the dialogue branches. I love how much is going on here.
The thing I was gonna say when I was demoing it before we started the stream today, I get like Tomb Raider vibes, you know, just and maybe it's the atmosphere with the animation, and maybe if it's just the ponytail of the main character here, but it just, I feel like, you know, the original Tomb Raider, you know, obviously everyone knows it and loves it, but like, one of the things I felt like I didn't like about it was like faux exploration, you know, it just felt very kind of slow and polygonal, and this way, I feel like it's a super 2D momentum based version of that, where it's like, oh, I can run, and the attention to detail of like smacking the stomach against the ledge is just brilliant. It's really great.
And try running into a wall for a sec, just to your right. You'll see how, like, you know, as you go into a wall, like in so many other video games, you're just kind of like, your body is upright and you're just marching mindlessly towards a wall, because that's what the controller is saying. But we want to, you know, kind of those little touches to make it just feel more natural looking, so that you know, that part of your brain that says there's something wrong about this doesn't necessarily fire.
Yeah.
So one of the things that you're supposed to do, I don't know if you were reading the text of the quest, but you're supposed to put out these fires. So the place where you'll need to go is kind of to the far left and down.
Okay.
You'll find a bucket where you can then fill that bucket with water and start putting out the fires.
Gotcha. Yeah. I apologize. I was trying to get through
cool.
it.
So a couple of things I noticed. I saw that Gerard was able to level up, and it looked like he got an extra heart. And I'm also noticing in the top right, there's the map that looks like it's uncovering as he's exploring. And I know, like, there seems to be a lot of different paths here. How much Metroidvania is this game, and also how much RPG is it?
It's a super Metroidvania. It's maybe too much at this point. There's very little direction in this demo, but
yeah, I'm digging how open it looks.
Yeah, you can kind of go anywhere right now, and I wanted to set it up so that you can sort of encounter different quests, different tasks, and you can encounter them kind of at your pace and in whatever sequence you want, more or less. But yeah, right now it's easy to kind of just wander around and not find anything specific to do. But I mean,
is this a wolf? Is this a wolf just out here chilling, just hanging out?
yeah.
I love that.
You
like
can't.
Ghost of Tsushima.
Eventually, you'll be able to befriend him, and he'll join your quest. But right now,
I definitely want to try and pet him,
life.
but I give him a little chest rub, just a little rub.
Yeah, right now he's thinking about what he's gonna have for dinner right now.
Oh, totally.
He's very focused.
Yeah. I'm not gonna stop him.
By the way, you can run off the ledge to the left there if you wanted to. That's not the only path down to where you need to go, but that
You
is
told me to do it, so I'm doing it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Oh my God! Look at this water.
It's crazy.
There's nothing like good water in video games.
Oh, there's you can sort of shoot forward on the surface of the water, and bad things happen.
Hey, I got the bucket. There we go. So
But now you gotta fill the bucket. Yeah, there you go. So it's like that buoyancy of, like, when you drop down, like, there's the momentum of you know, your weight when you drop down, of course, in gravity, but then there's also the buoyancy of the water, so getting that feel right, so it feels like you're jumping into a new kind of surface that it should feel different than if you were just running around on land.
yeah.
How much work were these animations? Because I feel like the more I watch Gerard play, the more, like, I feel like I see a new animation every minute, where, like, she's either, like, on the ground crawling, or she's doing a different type of flip, or she's climbing up in a very specific way.
Yeah, the animations, I think we're well over 100 at this point.
Wow.
So there's a bunch of different action-specific animations in there. We wanted it to feel, you know,
look at the way
as
she's swimming.
engaging
That's awesome.
as possible. Yeah.
It's just
Yeah, it gets to the point where, you know, you wind up noticing things that would never bother you in any other game, but it's like everything else is so, you know, kind of so natural looking that when you encounter something that seems unnatural, it really stands out. So it makes the bar even higher that we always are thinking like, oh crap, we need a new animation here because that just looks a little bit off.
So what did I just powered this area, it looks like?
Yeah, so you just activated, this is the generator that powers the one of the outposts of the Fallen. That's one of the factions in the game.
Captain Kirby in chat here asks, question for the devs, how far along in development is the game? How long have you guys been working on this? Because watching it right now, this looks like it's already pretty far along, or you guys have at least put a lot of work into it so far.
Yeah, I mean it's been a hobby project for a long time. We started it years ago, but we've just been sort of slowly ramping up our production speed, and once we brought Dan on and got some more support, things have been picking up speed. But yeah, I think we're about halfway through, maybe 40%. But yeah, a lot of it was just like building the animation set for the player and getting a lot of the groundwork in, and now we're starting to really build out the levels and add all the rest of the content. So
It's crazy. I got stuck from in that little area for a brief moment just because I was like, how did I momentum-wise change my I wasn't even paying attention. I feel like I double jumped in the air or jumped off of something, but that was...
you can wall jump, so I think that might have happened.
Yeah, but it was crazy because, oh, I wall jumped off the right side and got back up. Gotcha. I was just sitting there like, how did I do that? Drop.
Ooh, I love the XP popping out.
Oh, man. Gave me severe Metroid vibes right there.
Yeah.
Just, all right.
This whole area feels very Metroid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel bad because
I played Metroid a few times.
I feel bad. I feel like I feel obligated to go. Ooh, loot. So I picked up a. Oh, okay.
Nice little inventory right here.
Full heal. Great. Oh, what was this thing that I got? The yellow cartridge underneath the stick.
That's a key card. That's why you're able to open the yellow tech doors.
Uh-oh, I think I broke the game, you guys.
Oh no!
Let's see if I can just reload it. Yo, thank you to Punching Cat for the $10. Lady KB Ham, thank you for the $100. Thank you so much. It's payday, and my husband and I agreed to donate $100 to the cause. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
So what started you guys off on making this game? Because like there are probably plenty of influences that we can point to in terms of like, you know, we mentioned Metroid, and you guys mentioned Tomb Raider. I think Gerard mentioned Tomb Raider. Somebody mentioned Tomb Raider.
I did.
Right? Like what was the thing that got you guys into going this direction with the game?
I mean, definitely Metroid. I mean, playing the original kind of convinced me to become a game developer, you know, in 4th grade. And I've worked on a bunch of different games, but I always wanted to do something like this. And
You
finally
mentioned 4th grade.
Yeah.
Like, was it really 4th grade where you decided, like, hey, this is what I want to do? Because that's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know if I knew it completely explicitly, but yeah, playing Metroid, you know, getting the NES for the first time really made an impact.
So yeah, you'll need some other stuff there.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you don't have the blue key card yet.
Oh,
Yeah,
of course,
need a
because
blue
it's a
key
blue
card.
door. It sounds kind of weird to say, but I'm also kind of getting Korra vibes a little bit, just in terms of the character and the atmosphere around.
Yeah, with the staff and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, Korra came out after we designed the character, but there's definitely some similarities there.
God, I love how these bugs are falling apart. Reminds me, I know we're referencing a lot of video games right now, but that specifically reminded me of Jet Force Gemini, where you would explode alien bug creatures.
I haven't played that one.
Not many people have, but I talk about it all the time because I keep trying to convince. It was Rare that made it back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
I keep trying to like tweet at them and convince them to bring it back because I adore that game, but nobody talks about it.
It's a classic, man. It's great.
Sometimes they drop chicken legs too, for some reason.
Video game logic.
Yeah.
Makes sense to me.
You want to know what else makes sense?
Oh my God, Michael. Yes, what makes sense?
Hi everyone, producer Michael here. Just telling you what else makes sense. It's hitting another $500 goal so you can get more Kirby art. We're just like $300 away from more Kirby art that you, the chat, get to determine what it is. So
Also,
that's that.
Also, probably more gross stuff too. So.
No, just Kirby art for right now.
Yeah, more gross stuff as well. I'll drink something or hurt myself some way. Don't worry about it. Just donate for charity. That's why we're here. But we're also here to honor this. This is great. I'm enjoying myself thoroughly so far.
Cool.
How long has been I can't talk today. I'm so sorry. How long has this process been for you guys as a team, just from start to finish all the way through? Is it been like, does it feel like a million years? Is it, like, do you feel like there's a light at the end of the tunnel? Like, how are you guys feeling, I guess, is the more appropriate question about your progress so far.
So I'd say, this started out solely as Weston's dream project, and I came in a little bit later, and he'd been, just kind of working at it evenings and weekends, and as you can tell, it's a big project. It's definitely too much for one person, and so thanks to our Kickstarter backers and also a few other people who have invested in the game, we've been able to build out much more of a team. So the progress, like if you look at it just in terms of how many months or years, since Weston first started working on it till today, it's been a long time. But I would say, and Weston, maybe you can comment on this. My guess is that this is, more progress has been made on this in the last year than in the last, several years that you've been working on it before.
Yeah. Each year it gets, we get faster and things get easier. And yeah, starting out it was very slow going and difficult. And I've gotten incredible support just from the indie game community. People have offered to help work on the game, and friends of mine have joined the team, and Dan has been invaluable in finding resources and kind of pointing us in the right direction. So it goes faster all the time, and more progress is made kind of every month. Each month is faster and easier than the previous month. So.
I imagine as it starts to come together, you probably get a better idea of where you want to go with it and what needs to be done and how to optimize and do all those things.
Yeah. Just like watching you play right now, I'm like, okay, I gotta fix that ledge so that you can actually jump on it.
Yeah, and so so Weston actually, before I even started working on it, he had written this, like, what is it, 100-page game design doc with like all of your ideas and how, this area is going to play out and this mechanic's going to work out, and there's just a ton of detail in there, and so now it's really all about building that world to the high standards that Weston kind of originally set out, because he was telling me, like, he's been kind of sick of seeing games that, like, where the animations just don't seem right, and it seems like some things are compromised, and So, he really wanted to make something that is there are no compromises on, which of course is impossible. There's always going to wind up being some compromise somewhere, but trying to make it in as close to that vision as possible.
Yeah, I love that. I feel like it so often. Like obviously animation is difficult, and making video games in general is difficult. And so like you get to something like animation in a 2D pixel art game, and it's like it can often seem like the animation is more so a means to the end of like, cool, we need the jump animation, we need the attack animation, but you're not able to put as much TLC into it because there's so much else that you have to do for a video game to make it work and actually get it out the door. And so it's awesome to see. Like it seems like for this game, you guys are at the very least focusing a lot on the presentation and focusing a lot on the animation and making sure that it sings and shines in a way that doesn't feel like it is compromised, which is really cool. Like sitting here and watching Gerard play over the last half hour, I'm like, I can't get enough of just watching and seeing how fluid the character looked and how all this stuff, how like the fire looks even and all these things. The bucket throwing.
The bucket throwing.
And one of the design goals that we had is that we wanted to make it so that this was a world you would want to spend time in, so that like, let's say you only had like 10 minutes to kill, you don't want to start up a whole new quest in the game or something, you should just be able to pick an area that you've already been to and just try running around in that world, and that in and of itself should be fun. So this is your first combat. One thing that you'll probably notice pretty quickly is you get tired if you button mash. So the idea of the combat is that it's loosely based on punch out. So there are tells that your opponent will have, like whether he'll aim high or low. And so if you dodge at the right time, like if you jump up when he's swinging low, or if you duck when he's swinging high, you can counter. But if you're always just trying to wail on him, you'll get tired. This is an introductory enemy where I believe he only strikes high, so all you have to do is duck and counter. So this was a good way to practice.
Yeah, the plants you can only hit if you dodge one of their blows.
Oh, look at that dragon.
Oh yeah, there's a dragon.
There's a dragon guy in the background.
Yeah.
Really random, but really cool.
Eventually you'll be able to ride him, but it's not in this demo.
I just want to give a quick shout out to the donations that just came in. My dog Nick, thank you for the 25. Tugboat, thank you for the 20, and Talentus Muse for the $20. Could donate to this or buy new dice. This seems like this seems worth the money. Thank you so much. One thing I was gonna say that I'm really kind of impressed with is that, and I mean I can't say that I'm really experiencing it, but like you say Metroidvania, but like this feels very, I mean, aside from the concept of what a Metroidvania is of backtracking and progression, I don't think I've played a game like this before in the way that you designed it. This feels so unique. I think like calling it a Metroidvania, while it is the most appropriate thing to call it, it feels like its own thing altogether. And like talk about identity, like we made a lot of comparisons to other games, but after playing it, like combat, traversal, movement, like everything feels very, very unique. And yeah, I mean, it's incredible because I think calling it a Metroidvania I think would kind of simplify it because it just seems like there's so much more to it going on.
Yeah, watching it, I almost get like open world, like it almost seems like more open than even just Metroidvania, right? Like,
yeah,
it looks like from all the and watching the map get filled in as Gerard goes, I'm like, wow, I can really get lost in this game. I feel like I can really just go through the motions and be like, oh wait, oh man, I want to go over here, but oh man, there's another tunnel over here that I want to check out before I keep going this way. And like that's what I love. I love those types of games where there's always something pulling my attention. With how many paths and different directions it seems like are available for you from the get-go, it almost seems even more open than what I would traditionally think of when I say Metroidvania.
I appreciate that. Yeah. And one of the things, since we talked, you mentioned a little bit about backtracking because that's like one of the regular pillars of like what a Metroidvania is, and offers. So in the beginning you're putting out this fire for this village. One of the cool things is that over time, after you put out the fires and you rescue some villagers, they'll start to rebuild that town. So when you go back, it's not just, okay, I'm going back to that area I beat already. It's now like, oh, now that shop is working and functioning. I can buy things at the shop, or there's a place, an inn where I can rest now, and so there's kind of a save spot there where there wasn't before, and so there's the town kind of grows in functionality, and there's actually a lot of areas in the game that are going to be kind of like that, where you can just there's kind of a rebirth of these areas as you rescue more people and save the town.
Gerard just did a combat sequence that looked really cool, like a minute ago, where you fought against the guard with, I think it was a sword.
Yeah.
But like that back and forth of like, I don't know if it was like a rock paper scissors thing, but I know you guys mentioned Punch Out before, and I think that was like a really good display of, oh snap, no, that actually looked way cooler and more choreographed than I would have expected from like a 2D action game.
Yeah, I mean that's what we wanted to stress is somewhat more involved, detailed combat, and yeah, Gerard was just doing the instant counters. So if you block right on the strike timing, then you get an instant counter strike. And also with those guys, if you dodge one of their blows, then you get a 2-strike window where you can hit them twice.
There's another
Like, this is really cool.
There's another cool animation with the spearmen that I really like, which is that if they see you from across the room and they charge at you, you can actually strike them as they're running past, and you kind of knock them off their feet and they go tumbling in the other direction, which is very satisfying when you do that.
Yeah, and if you want to get really crazy, when they charge at you and you hit them once, you can turn around and kick them as they fly by, so you can get 2 hits in. It's a little bit tricky to pull off.
Lily, thank you very much for the $20. They said, thanks for being awesome and hosting another incredible IndieLand. Thank you.
Yeah, the combat almost seems martial arts movie-ish. Like, I just got done watching Shang-Chi, like so many people did, and like, while watching Shang-Chi, I was like, man, I could really use a video game that like has this level of like choreography and martial arts. And so when I got home, I immediately started playing Lost Judgment. But like watching the combat here takes me back to that too, where it's like that cool back and forth dodge parry, like the mono combat. I'm all about it.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna rival Shang-Chi, but
who can?
It's something to strive for.
Well, one I forgot what I was going to say. I just had a thought and I lost it as soon as it came into my head.
You're gonna give us your Lost Judgment.
There is a bow out there that is functional in this build. That's what those guys are for. You don't have it yet.
I am out of stamina.
Yeah, so you'll have to keep away for a little bit until you recover.
I love the kip up too.
Hey, you know the name of it. That's impressive.
Oh yeah. I used to break dance back in the day, and so I know all the moves.
Could you do a kip up?
I could. I don't know if I could do one today. I feel like I'm too old. I'm only 27, but like I used to do it all the time when I was like 19 years old. And I don't think I've done it in maybe a good 6 years. And so if I tried it, I might injure myself. I'd say I have a good 30% chance of pulling it off though.
I did martial arts a bunch when I was younger, and I always wanted to be able to do a kip up, but I never pulled it off.
What kind of martial arts?
Aikido.
Oh wow.
It's probably why they're the staff. That we did a lot of staff stuff in that martial arts, so that seemed like a natural weapon for Sam to wield.
Yeah, I've always been very light, and I used to be pretty limber, and so the kip up was super easy for me to get down.
I hate
but yeah,
Gerard.
like nowadays, now that I'm
Gerard
slightly less limber
testing
than I
the
was a decade
limits.
ago, I don't know. I might try it and break my back.
just leaning in real quickly to remind everyone we only have Kiera doing art commissions of Kirby for another half hour, and we are $150 away from another custom Kirby from the chat.
Was I not supposed to come up here the way that I did? Because Michael, my producer, saw me do that and like laughed at me because he was like, "What are you're just like breaking stuff," and I was like, "You're right," but like,
it was a little bit of a sequence break. Usually I come from the other direction, but that's fine.
Yeah, no, that's totally cool.
Nope. Oh boy, I'm getting wrecked. This was a mistake. Oh, there's two of them now.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
That's my thing. I can face a man or I can face a bug. Once it's a man and a bug, that's where I draw the line.
So one of the things, sorry, Weston, you go ahead.
You're hitting the right trigger, and that starts up the super strike. But you have to hit strike while you have the right trigger held in order to do the super strike.
Oh, is that how you? So you hold art? Oh, whoa, that was sick!
So one of the things that we're working on is, for these situations where you are surrounded by multiple enemies, we want to get it. It's not really as polished in this build as we like, but we want to make it so that the enemies kind of coordinate. So if to the extent that combat is kind of like Punch Out, where you kind of notice like, okay, they're aiming high, so I'm going to duck, and then this one's aiming low, so I'm going to jump, that they're not both hitting at the same time. You pulled off that one move where you knocked the legs out from under him. But anyway, so like if you're fighting two people, it should feel a lot like,
Double
kind of
kill.
like a Bruce Lee movie where there's like, you're surrounded on all sides, but you're like just barely able to block, dodge, and counter each enemy and making it look really cool. So we're kind of working on that a little bit more.
You just did a double super strike. I don't think I've ever done that before.
One of my favorite things about IndieLand is when we had these developers on to showcase their games, like what you just described of like you just did that. I've never seen that. Like that happens so often when I play, and I don't know what it is. I just kind of zone out and start mashing stuff and start seeing what I can get out and test. And it oftentimes results in me breaking the game and embarrassing the developer, and I feel really bad. And on Sunday, when we had our opening ceremony, that happened quite a bit. Out of the 9 games we featured, I broke 7 of them. But it was always fun, and it was a great discussion piece, and I think everyone enjoyed the conversation overall.
I love the idea that like Gerard is just hopping into walls and like doing all the things he should be doing, and like developers just in there like, no, stop him, somebody please stop him.
just play the game normally.
Gerard is like hopping on like any piece of geometry that doesn't seem like it should be hopped on. Gerard like tapping X on it.
Now this is great. This is saving us a ton in QA testing time.
Yeah. Starting a long list of problems I need to fix.
So why the name Savior?
I don't know. Dan came up with it. Dan, do you want to answer that question?
So there's a whole storyline that we really haven't touched on. So there's basically these two factions, a splintered society. One is kind of run by this kind of theocracy, this kind of very domineering society that's anti-science and all about total control, and you're born into that society, or at least you wake up to discover you're in that society, and then you find that there's this community of kind of more technology-focused, scientifically minded people out there, and you kind of want to, bring those two sides back together. And so there's this whole theme for the game as you play through. You it turns out that the theocracy side is governed by this false religion where they're essentially being manipulated into acting a certain way, and not to get too political, but there might be some parallels in, with conspiracy theory groups out there. And so one of the things that you can do in the dialogue, which is somewhat optional, is you can kind of engage in a debate with some of them in just a discussion and help them kind of think through their own reasons for why they believe the things they believe. And so as these sides come together, they'll kind of join forces. I don't want to give away too much of spoilers, but you will be able to save this community. So that's where it comes from. So I probably went into too much detail about the whole storyline and story arc.
I just realized I think you might be stuck over here.
Yeah, I think I soft locked myself.
You might be able to make that jump if you jump off the wall to the left.
All right, time to break the game. Let's go. Let's see what I can do
But
here.
there's a double jump below this area.
That you were supposed to have gotten first.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no, this is something I should have foreseen.
So if you go onto that platform, maybe that would help. Because you can stand on that, right? Or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. I think I figured it out. I think I can. I'm out of stamina. Big thank you to Martin W. Doodles for the $30. I was going to say this for later, but I really want to see one more drawing. Thanks again for everyone for another fantastic IndieLand so far. Thank you. Captain Kirby, the $5. I can't put into words how good this game looks. There's so much put into every single little detail, and I especially love the trees waving in the background. Fantastic work, developers. Now on to the next Kirby. Thank you. And Shattered Time Lord River donated $30 and said, thank you, Gerard, and all the TVG family for raising money to help victims and their families. Also, thank you to all the indie developers for being awesome and sharing their games with us. Now let's get to one more Kirby. Thank you very much. We're actually pretty close now.
We're $70 away, everyone. $70. If all of you just toss in 5, we'll blow past that. We'll get so many Kirby's.
It's true.
Let's be tilting and tumbling all the Kirby's around here.
Man, I'm like a little. I wonder. No.
So Weston, would you recommend maybe just quitting out and reloading from the?
Yeah, that might be the way to go.
Yeah, return to title and load.
Let's see if that did it.
But we can direct you to where you need to go so that you'll be where you were supposed to have been.
Sure. It was fun to explore.
Yeah, I would say head right and kind of go up and to the left without dying.
That dying part is.
We haven't
I'm
instituted iframes yet, so those bugs can hit you several times in a row.
Can you guys explain the? I noticed this earlier, and I was really intrigued by it. It kind of stopped me in my tracks. I'm holding the attack button, and I noticed that I still hold it, and if I press a direction, I still kind of perform a new attack. That's really rad. Well, obviously it's, that's like.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
I wanted to offer a different way to play quickly.
Yeah.
So if you hold down attack and just push directions, you can quickly strike. It's especially useful if you're fighting multiple opponents.
Gotcha. Okay.
Kind of just another way to play if it feels better.
It was just really cool because I wasn't expecting it, and so just kind of see it kind of all pan out was like, whoa, really rad.
You can hit the switch on that elevator back there. If you can hit through the bottom of the lift and hit that switch to get it out of your way.
Oh my gosh, of course you can. I just didn't think about it.
No, that's something that no one thinks of. It's just...
Weston, have you had game releases before this? Or is this your first project?
I've worked on a bunch of games for other companies, and I released a game on Steam called Metal Drift with a partner years ago. That was like a multiplayer tank game. But I used to work at Sierra and LucasArts and Pipeworks, a couple different companies.
I'm looking at Metal Drift right now on Steam. This game looks kind of cool. I'm kind of into the aesthetic.
It's a little tricky because it's a multiplayer only, and our community is basically evaporated. So you can play against the computer, but
I love the idea of like logging in and being like meeting up with the 2 other people that are still online, being like, "Oh, what's up, guys?" and they just obliterate me.
Yeah, that could
We've been playing nonstop since 2009.
So yeah, you're going the right door. If you keep heading right, you have to, fight this guy. But
Also, if you're running and you hit the right trigger, or if you hold down the right trigger
There's a
and then
sprint button.
hit strike, I think you'll do a slide.
What the
that's cool.
fuck? That's so cool.
And the slide will obliterate everybody. It's like a total OP power right now.
And you gotta roll.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully Nintendo doesn't get mad at us.
Oh shit. Oh no, not what I wanted. Not what I wanted. Oh fuck, I'm dead.
Wow.
That's my fault.
That's so good.
Oh yeah, he won't let you go past.
Did you guys put in the Castlevania death sound?
Oh yeah, don't tell anyone.
it's placeholder.
Placeholder. Yeah.
Yeah, and you just walk through like this dark area. That's like a masking bug that if you close the door and open it again.
Oh yeah.
It'll fix itself.
Oh, cool.
So that's a known issue. Just haven't fixed it yet.
I'm surprised that the first time you've run into that bug is.
Yeah.
Also, if you hold down the left trigger, you'll get a different super strike, and it'll make you walk if you push a direction.
Now I finally hit unmute on the stream because I didn't realize that was a thing I could do, and I'm hearing the sound effects. And I was wondering, have you guys started on figuring out what the music is for this game? Is it still too early to where you're not having those talks yet, or do you guys have a vision for it?
Yeah, actually, all the tracks, I think all the music tracks in here are made for this game by our composer Ben Young, and yeah, we're kind of doing a mix, kind of a hybrid mix between orchestra, instruments, and synth, and depending on which part of the world you're in, you'll hear more conventional, traditional instruments or synth.
Interesting. I mean, that makes me think that like you're gonna step into a more futuristic setting, and then all of a sudden the synth hits in.
Yeah.
That's just me projecting.
So this is one of the refugees that escaped the village. He's kind of a Bob Vila kind of guy. Oh, and you shouldn't be able to talk to him. And that's not the right character
portrait
profile.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the caretaker. So yeah, if you just keep heading right, there's going to be several of those swordsmen that you're going to have to fight in a row.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's buggy.
Oh. Yeah, the scene transition there is pretty buggy.
Yeah, and it
Not gonna lie, I assumed he had super speed.
And there's looks like stair collision. There you go. If you can slide past the next one.
Yeah, how do I slide again? It's RT.
Hold down right trigger and then
attack.
Attack.
We got all those Kerbos coming in because we just
did. We just hit another goal. I think we're at 18,000.
500.
500, $18,500.
What a
Thank you so much.
clean number.
Yeah.
And we're 11,500 away from this color being on this
I thought it was
space of my face. Yeah, well, that's how the math.
11,500. Oh,
Yeah, 11,500,
gotcha.
18,500.
I thought you said like 1,100.
Yeah, just a smeezy breezy bit. No, throw out those Kerbos and yeah, this game is
So good. Now we're getting more. What? Yo, double jump time.
I was hoping you'd get that.
It's time to go.
That opens up a lot of areas that were difficult to access before, obviously.
Who goes there?
Oh yeah, this was a mistake. Now I will just go everywhere.
Oh my god, so much freedom.
Yeah, it's just the world opened up, man. Double jump. Oh man, it's so cool. Look at the cool, oh man, what a cool. Oh, this guy's like, oh, the two of them are like, wait a minute, no double jumping allowed here. Hey, there's the bow. Hey, I broke the collision. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're not supposed to go up there.
That's one way of doing it.
So yeah, maybe switch to your bow and you can just see what it's how it works. Like if you select it and go back to that area where the enemies were, and you can take out.
They decided to come with me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, these guys are relentless.
They are very dedicated to their job.
Did they just drown?
I think they
Oh yeah, they're sleeping. They're sleeping in the water.
They're just taking a nap underwater.
Taking
It's
a little
fine.
water nap, that's all.
We haven't taught them how to swim yet.
They call that a waterbed.
Yeah. Nice.
Thank you. I'll be here all night.
Now for this, can I actually do this? Can I actually get up there?
No, this is supposed to be the edge of the demo.
Gotcha, okay.
There's still, the end of the demo is actually just below where you spawn originally.
Oh, where I was going through
Now
all
that you
those
have the double
caves.
jump, you can get the blue key card,
Ah,
and it's just to the right of the original spawn position.
gotcha. I'm gonna be real with you guys. This game has just been impressing me more and more as we've been going through with it. Just surprise after surprise. It's been
Nice.
such a pleasure.
It's a bit nerve-wracking to watch you play, but it's also super cool.
Hey, if
Yeah,
you ever,
you're the first person not on the team or like not friends and close friends and family who is trying it out. So yeah, I'm glad it's going mostly well.
that's awesome. Thank you so much for letting me do this. This is really rad. Yeah, it's kind of.
Sorry, you want to go back up and to the right, and then down there.
There we go.
And then you'll go. Oh yeah, actually you can go in that door there just real quick. And if you go to the left, this is there's a bed on the left.
Oh yeah.
Kind of a fun.
That'll give you your strength back.
Yeah, so that's the save spot. And if you go to the right, and then let's see. Sorry, you have to go up. And to the right again.
I feel so look how fast I'm going. Everyone's dying. This is what this is. No one can stop me now.
It's a pure wrecking ball.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh
you get-
shit!
Oh my gosh.
Oh, you can't fight that guy yet.
So what is this guy's deal?
This-
I don't think I could tell you much about him without spoiling the story, but you don't normally run into him until much later.
Gotcha.
See, now I'm starting to think my theory that like you go to a wildly different setting.
Yeah.
It's starting to come together with this like the orchestral to synth shift. I think there's something there. Something interesting is happening, chat.
There's actually a boss to the right that's just sort of there. You can't interact with it, but the art is in.
Whoa. Oh, dude.
I love this.
This has been, guys, we're out of time for this block, but what an absolute pleasure. Thank you for joining us. This has been Savior. If you guys want to wishlist this game, we have our IndieLand Steam page that we designed in the box down below, or you can ask a mod or hit one of the auto commands. You can wishlist this game today. Guys, thank you so much for your time. This was such a blast to play. Anything else you want to plug before we move on to the next game?
No, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for having us here. And yeah, we're on Twitter at StarsoftPDX, and yeah, we're on Steam. So please wishlist if you're interested in the game.
Hell yeah, dudes. Well, thank you so much for joining me. Up next, Severed Steel and more IndieLand goodness. We'll be back in just a moment with a little break.